Hello, I am Christy, and this is Positive X-Ploration. Today I want to talk about making time for yourself because I know this time of year, the holidays, they're a really busy time, a really hectic time, and finding time for yourself, to take care of yourself, to get away from the stressors or de-stress are difficult things to do. You're running from here to there all the time. So we'll talk about that and how to deal with that.
Leave your limitations, live and go against them. Just let go and start up something new. Cause I know that what you planned out, everything that you built up, isn't what you want. And I know the life you're living isn't that fulfilling. Let me help you out.
So the holiday season brings church things to do. Maybe you're in the choir and you have extra practices. Maybe your child is in some children's program and they gotta go to rehearsal. Every day after school, Christmas parties with different groups you belong to, outside of family, work, or any clubs or organizations. Of course, you gotta find time for shopping, for any other special events. So, not to mention the family gatherings and the traveling that's involved with that, or the hosting that's involved with that. So let's go over a few points. Even though it seems like now is not the time to make any time for yourself, it absolutely is the time to make at least a little time for yourself. Okay, you've got to find those times, those moments, even if they're few and far between, even if it's only a few minutes. Find the time just to breathe. Even a little small thing can help you refocus and calm your nerves and stress down. Take moments to pause on your way to work. Listen to something calming on the way to work. Stop. Take a breath in the parking lot of your work or the grocery store, or when you're out shopping, before you go in or after you come out. If you're, just breathe for a minute. Listen to a calming speaker in a podcast about something that is good, that you love to listen to. Treat yourself to a coffee or a tea someplace. Find a moment, even just right before bed maybe, or in the shower. There's a place. When you're taking a shower, breathe. Breathe as you let the water hit you. Okay? And calm yourself. Enjoy as much of the activity as you can. Enjoy decorating. Okay? Make it a festive moment. Okay? Turn on the calming music then. Make that a calming moment. You're doing something that requires some creativity. And we're gonna get to this in a moment, but also remember, as you're decorating, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It doesn't. Maybe you've entered your house into one of those contests, those Christmas decorating contests. Yeah. It's just for fun. It's just for fun. Maybe you should just let the other neighbors or the other participants in this contest win and let them stress out over it, okay? Is it really worth your stress? Enjoy decorating, enjoy wrapping presents, enjoy picking out the presents. If there's somebody that you're trying to impress, if they're gonna look down their nose at your gift, maybe they don't really deserve all of that effort you're giving it. You're just trying to get something for them that they'll like, that they'll enjoy, and you want to see the happiness on their face on Christmas. That's great. But that's all it is. You will have to go on a trip to visit other family members. Enjoy the trip. If your flight is delayed, if your flight is canceled, here's what I propose. Why don't you, before you even leave, even right now, as the travel is already booked, make some contingency plans and kind of expect for delays and cancellations to happen. Transit has never really been the most reliable thing, even if you're driving. What you meet out on the highway, what problems there are aren't always expected. So, expect to be delayed, expect to be late, and have contingency plans for that. And then if it happens, you have been mentally prepared this whole month for something such as this to happen. You may still not like it. I'm not saying you're gonna love it. I'm saying it's not this big, oh my God, what? We're gonna be late now? We're gonna be delayed now? We're not gonna get there until tomorrow or the next day? Yeah, that might happen. Because here's the thing about stuff like that. You don't have control over what happens. You don't have control over any of this stuff. You don't have control over people's reactions to things, whether or not you win or lose a contest, whether or not the flight takes off on time or at all. You don't have control of these things. So getting all upset and stressed and worked up about these things is really not worth your time. It's not. I don't know why that's happening upstairs. And here's the other point that I alluded to earlier. Things don't have to be perfect. Your home doesn't have to be decorated perfectly. The presents don't have to be perfect. The wrapping paper or the bag that you put the gift in doesn't have to be perfect. The food, if you're hosting or bringing food, it doesn't have to be perfect. Of course you want it to be great. Of course you want people to enjoy it. But perfect? I find that a lot of people stress themselves out over perfect and having a certain type of appearance or wanting people to think a certain thing. And I'm telling you, it is not worth it. And it doesn't matter what other people think. It just doesn't. This is your time just as much as it is anyone else's. Okay? Drama. One of the things about this time of year that people find difficulty with is this big family time they're supposed to have, right? Don't get sucked in to the drama. Don't participate in it. If it's toxic, don't encourage it, don't engage. And keep your distance from the more toxic family members that you might have. Because yes, that is an unfortunate situation where people have family members that are very, very difficult to deal with. And it's hard to be put in that situation. So if it's really bad, I would suggest maybe finding another Christmas tradition for you to do. There were people at my work who had a kind of a coworker or Friendsgiving, and it sounded really fun. I think they had a good time. It was a group of people who were new or newer to our little group, and they didn't have family here. One of the ladies in the office invited these people who didn't have anyone else to come to her house on Thanksgiving, and they would do something, and it sounded like it was a hit. They had a good time. So I was glad about that. That sounds really nice. If that's something that maybe you need to do, whether you have family in the area where you are or not, maybe that's something you can look into. Maybe you start hosting a Friendsgiving, or have other people there as a buffer for you, or bring a friend to a family gathering. Cut out what you can on your schedule. Okay, do you have to have participation in the church program? Does your kid have to? Do they want to? You know, do they need to? I mean, it's just another thing to add on. I was in a Christmas play once as a child, and I was in several Christmas plays as a child, but not that I minded, but there was one in particular, and again, this wasn't, on me, but there was this 7-year-old boy named Andrew who was cast as the lead in this church play. It wasn't a school play. He wasn't some professional child actor or anything. It was just a church play in a little town. There were probably maybe going to be 100 people who watched this play. Maybe 150 at the most. I mean, I just really don't feel like it was that many people. And he had to memorize all these lines and everything, and he had his schoolwork, and he had, his sister told me, because their grandmother, I think it was their grandmother that lived across the street from me, and they would come over every once in a while, and his sister told me, because I asked how he was doing, she said he just wants to play, and he has to do his homework and memorize lines. It was kind of ridiculous. We had rehearsal every night for a month for this little play in this little church in this little tiny town. And this poor 7-year-old, he was excited at the beginning, and he was good at saying his lines. That's why he was picked. He had fun with it. He was the little kid character, He fit perfect. He was so cute. And that's what it was all about. I mean, the parents and grandparents of those of us in the program weren't going to care if we messed up. They were going to think it was cute. And, things don't have to be perfect. You can cut stuff out. You don't have to go to all the Christmas parties. Okay? Do ya? Really? And maybe you don't even have to go to the family gathering if it's going to be rough, I'm just saying there's ways to take the load off. Okay? Things don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything on the list. You don't even have to follow a certain tradition if you don't think it's the right thing to do for you. It depends on what's involved in that, right? does that involve being around toxic people or people who apparently don't really enjoy your company? They just want to give you a hard time? Because that can be family members. It can, and of course I know you know that. I don't really mean for this to be to rag on people's familial relationships, but I know there's a lot of pressure with this sometimes. Oh, it's Christmas, I gotta. And maybe just this year, rethink it. Do you really gotta? What would happen if you didn't? Also ask yourself why you think, if you're one of those people who thinks everything has to be perfect, why do you think that? Does it? Does it have to be perfect? Why? Those are just a few tips that I came up with to help you have a calmer, more breathable, more enjoyable holiday season during this hectic and kind of chilly, cold time of the year. Also, I really do find that the coldness outside makes the stress even worse somehow because you're cold and it doesn't feel good. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but stay calm and stay warm.